Hi, this is Kai from Kikai Craft, and I know everyone is so excited with the Inkvent Calendar 2023. I am too, and I think I'm going to get mine next week. And so I thought it would be a good time for me to put together a video that I was planning to do at the end of last year's Inkvent Calendar, but never got to do. So in preparation for Inkvent 2023, I decided to put together a video of Inkvent 2022, get all the inks swatched. So those who are just getting into the hobby get an idea of how Inkvent calendars look like and how it looked like last year. And then when I get mine, I'm going to go ahead and compare it with this one. So in this particular video, what we're going to do is we're going to swatch our inks onto maruman paper. Okay, and the reason I'm doing this, why it's maruman loose leaf, it's simply because I am trying to put all my collections into these little ring binders where I can just flip through it. I found that having it in something like this was just a bit more manageable for my sort of brain when it's time for me to look through. So the idea, of course, is that today we're going to swatch all the 2022 inks here, or maybe here, and then we'll have the 2023 on the other side so that we can sort of compare them later. We'll also have a look at how many chameleon inks there are, how many standards, scented, etc. And then, of course, we're going to have a look at the colors too. So I'm just going to go and start swatching them. You'll see what they are. I'm going to show them a little bit here, and then I'll go ahead and swatch them, and then I'll see you at the end and chat up a bit more with what I thought of 2022. Now, in case you're super brand new to ink swatching and want to have a bit of an idea of what you'll need to swatch inks after almost a year of playing with fountain pens and inks, I found out that pretty good paper is one good way to start. Choose one that will show off the ink's properties, whether it be shading, etc. Maruman is a relatively cheaper but very good paper that you can use. You'll also need a pen. So I often use my kakimori nib because it helps with the swatching and all that. But I found out that apart from the kakimori nib, a really good glass nib pen works fantastic. I've used a few already, and this is the best I've had so far. And also for my own type of swatching, I use these two. You'll see in a bit how I do that if you haven't seen it. And then, of course, you'll have to have a pot of water with you and to rinse your things. And then, of course, some kitchen towel. Now, some people use cloth towels, some people use tissue paper. I like to use kitchen towels because they're super absorbent, quite thick, and they also help clean with this textured side. Okay, so enough of chatting. I'll go through the 25 inks and then I'll see you at the end of it. All right, so we're back with all of the 25 inks from Inkvent 2022. And as you can see, they have quite the variety. Right now, what you are seeing in front of you would be about 6 purple or red inks. Maybe one is like more of a red-orange kind of color. That would be Flames. Then you have a yellow, maybe a little mustard brown yellow. You have 5 greens. You have about 7 blues and about 3 purple, violet, pink kind of colors going for you. You also have some browns. Actually, you have 3 browns, and there is no black, although there is a very dark blue that can fit into the blue-black. But very much into the blue rather than the black. So that's one of the good things about getting an Inkvent. You get a variety of colors that can start you up with your ink collection. In fact, this was some sort of my startup kit, if you can call it. And it started my ink collection, and I just had quite a variety of experiences as I swatched and used these inks. This also introduced me to the different types of inks that you can find. The standard, okay, which kind of just looks like your regular ink, nothing big. That's a standard there. Here is another standard. Here is another one, although some might suggest a little bit of shading. For example, Ghost. When you use that, there's some sort of shading going on with that ink. It also introduced me to shimmer inks, and as you can see, there are a number of shimmer inks. So standard, there are about 9 standard inks here. Jingleberry would be a very nice one. And Flames is another nice one, although this can become a little light when you write with it. And then you have your shimmer inks that has all that shimmer, also known as some sort of like glitter in it. You also have some sheening inks, although there aren't a lot in this collection. I suppose to make it easier for beginners, because sheening inks are a little bit high maintenance. It goes everywhere, number one. Number two, it's hard. It takes a long time for it to dry. So you have just a couple of sheening inks, and they are actually more of the chameleon sheening inks. They also have scented inks, which was my first time to try one when I got this this set. They have 2 scented inks here. One is a favorite of mine, the Pick Me Up, and the other one is the Spruce. Then of course you have your chameleon inks, which kind of changes color a little bit, right? For example, here you have your blue, and it has that sheen, and it has that sort of shimmer in, I think that's a silver shimmer. Then you have one of my favorites, Deck the Halls. If I can move it a bit closer, that's another chameleon. So you have your purple base, and then you have some sort of a rose gold shimmer going on for it. And so, yep, and then you have your shading inks, which I just showed you earlier would be most likely the Ghost. So if you're thinking about getting an Inkvent calendar and you're a beginner, I highly recommend that you do, so you can experience the whole slew of ink explorations, if you will. And if you have been collecting fountain pens, like I still consider myself a beginner, even if I started 10 months ago. I will get Inkvent 2023 because I love the experience of discovering new shades and new treatments and new ways to see color, and perhaps to think about how I could write or create art with these colors. So as you noticed, as I swatched, I didn't really use all the colors throughout the year, and chances are you won't too, especially if you get into the ink collection part of the rabbit hole. But the knowledge that you have this bank to sort of fit whatever need you might have as you journal or as you write is a very good sort of perspective or mind space to come from. So yes, even if I have not used all the inks from this collection, and I know I have a few more bottles to get, I will get the Inkvent 2023, because you get to discover new shades and new inks and new experiences from all of these colors. What I did get full bottles of would be One More Sleep, because it really pairs well with one of my pens, the Sailor Pro Gear Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Its amount of like wetness fits that sailor pen perfectly, and it even lends some shading to the writing experience when I journal. I also got myself a Deck de Halls because it's such a pretty color and a pretty ink, as you can see. So I definitely got one of those. Oof, just crossed my mind right now. I'm thinking of getting the Kaweco Little Witch, and I think this would fit that pen perfectly. And those were the two that I got bottles of. One that I wish I would like really get perhaps would be the Pick Me Up, but I found that this is such a wet ink. If you notice, the scented inks are very wet, so much so that they really what's this, they really feathered into the paper. Yeah, and this is actually, Maruman is actually a good paper to use with fountain pen inks, but as you can see, super loads of feathering happening. What surprised me though was this one, the Celebration, because there's a lot of feathering that happened there. And so yeah, it's a shimmer ink, but it shouldn't be feathering that much. Anyway, so here is the collection from last year. I'm excited to see what 2023 Inkvent will bring me. Okay, so this is Kai from Kikai Craft. Thank you very much for joining me today as I shared this ink collection with you. If you're looking into discovering more inks and more pens and more journaling or paper experiences, please do consider subscribing. And if you like this particular video, no spoilers because this came from last year, then do hit the like button. Okay, and wherever you are, I hope you have a great day or a restful evening. Bye everyone.